first game. Orianna already banned by VKS. Wondering if they'll first pick the Azir themselves, or if they'll ban it away from Quad. Because they know Quad doesn't really have a lot of picks into the Azir, like doesn't play the Yone or the Silas kind of champions like Mireu himself does. So picking Azir for him will be like a pick for him that he wants, and a takeaway from Quad as well.
Yeah, you
the whole
double
series
there. Yeah, exactly. Because again, Fearless, you don't have to worry about that
exactly
for the rest of the best of 5. So as we see the first couple of bans come through here, no Azir ban from FlyQuest yet. VKS do still have that on the table, but Orianna, the focus for them, plus the Trundle, Pantheon, and Nico taken off the table so far here. So again, eyes will be on FlyQuest if they have their same focus on Azir that Sven was highlighting there.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what the third ban is going to come out from FlyQuest as well in Game 1. It was that Aurora, as we do see the Yone come out from VKS.
This point to an Azir first pick.
Yeah.
Yone is a typical counter matchup, so
surprised they banned the Yone from Quad. He doesn't typically like to play the melee mid laners like Yone and Silas and so on. So definitely telling FlyQuest that they're going to first pick Azir if they give it to them. FlyQuest probably thinking about that right now.
Yeah,
Azir is nerfed.
Oh.
Yeah, so they do stick with that Aurora ban. So see if...
Likely an Azir here for VKS. Paul will probably just play something like Victor against it or whatever. Ah, Sona.
It always could be that. No, hovered
what a
and now
surprise.
locked in. So now what do we think are the available counter picks that Quad would play when we think about Quad's champ pool?
I mean, it's probably just going to be a Victor. Or Orianna is available, so it's kind of simple. Like, oh, Orianna banned? Okay, Victor done.
Okay.
Maybe Ryze, maybe like...
Go down the
like
flowchart.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of something that Quad is super comfortable on, that also scales really well, right? We talk about Azir scaling and pretty much
Taliyah too, with
any
the Vi.
draft. Oh yeah,
That's a combo as well.
Yeah, I think
still up.
Well, that Vi is locked in, so let's see if they want to go for that Taliyah. They don't need to right away, because low chance VKS would pick that away from them. They could go for something like a support.
I think it's valuable to
carry.
have top counter pick on 3, so I think just matching mids here gives Bwipo the best answer, because if you take
there it is.
Renekton or Ambessa, then you can pick the other vice versa. So I'm expecting top on 3 here, and then I think VKS will also pick their top side here as well.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if they will pick the Ambessa blind or something that's good against Ambessa itself blind, because you know like about the whole LTA and likes the Ambessa Renekton matchup.
Yeah, I mean I'm a big believer in the Ambessa side, but
even against Thanatos or Bwipo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I can beat everyone on that. But
Sven's unconvinced.
So you think Boal is gonna go for the blind
I think
pick
he's gonna go
here?
Renekton.
Okay.
Drop top till 4-5, but
Be a very early Sivir. Typically, I see her later in the draft in Fearless picks, but
it is not bad versus Vi. You can spell shield the ulti, but sometimes the Vi ults you and then she smites your spell shield in the air. So it's kind of like a mind game of who can like spell shield the latest possible second.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
And here on red side, I think if you can take Ambessa here on 3 and just ban 2 for it.
True.
So I feel like it has really high value here, but
typical AD and top lane. Like, I want my really pick here. No, I want to pick here.
And they're actually going to be going with the Senna.
Senna was banned in our series
Massu.
the whole time, but Massu's able to get it here into the Sivir.
Yeah, of course, Senna is going to Sivir because you don't really have many spells that matter. It's hard to spell shield the Senna Q. It's so fast, so hard to react to, and also like a very unimportant spell. So not a bad counter, also outranges the Sivir once you get a few more stacks under your belt, so not a bad pick at all.
And you have to spell shield that last Embrace W, then Vi ultimate's now on the table, and like, it's not the
also
nicest
good
thing to go
with
for.
the Vi. When Vi flies in with the ulti, you can come out on top with the Senna ulti, give him a bit of air support.
Yeah,
is that what it's called?
I guess so, yeah.
And then in this draft, VKS also have a lot of scaling, so I hope they don't go for rush plays like they did last game, where I think they're just playing the long game here and don't really want too much pressure in the early game and feel like they get outscaled, so I think they're going for the safe.
Yeah, they definitely don't get outscaled at this point in this draft. So last game, perhaps they felt a little bit of pressure at the Herald when they took that bad team fight that got them aced. So maybe now they feel more comfortable giving a few objectives if they have to and just playing for late game.
Yeah, if you can secure 1 dragon in early game somehow, then the game's going really
banned.
good.
You can't get the Busio Bard.
Banned by themselves.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. They didn't see the sign. That's why. But yeah, when I see Vivocade's 2 carries right now, Sivir and Azir, that is so much wave clear. Like, they can make this game go late, Emily.
Yeah, they can, but we've talked about how good FlyQuest. That's a really good. We've talked about how FlyQuest are good at kind of stalling, giving up objectives, and playing the scaling game, they're also really good on compositions like this with the Vi Taliyah. It was actually on this Vi in Game 2 the last time that we saw Inspired really, really pop off, visiting mid, revisiting top, like reganking top to get Gakkos ahead in that series. So, I mean, they're perfectly comfortable with this, and then you still have the Senna for that kind of late game scaling.
And Douglas, I know that you were saying that Ambessa could have been a good, pick there for quads champ instead of the Senna on the red 3, but now do you still think Ambessa is high priority? I mean, even Renekton was just banned out by VKS.
I mean, I think you can still pick Ambessa here. It gives you another layer of engage to follow the Vi. And typically, all lanes are going to be relatively 50-50. There are counter picks available. I mean, Boal picked Aatrox yesterday, so you can kind of handshake that lane. But I'm expecting the Ambessa here on 4. I'd be pretty surprised if they just give it away. And
Yeah, and we've seen that support counter pick can actually really change the tides of a game. So it is Ambessa locked in blind for Bwipo.
And I'm just expecting Aatrox here. I don't think anything crazy is going to come out. They did play it yesterday.
VKS needs some engage here. Someone that sets up a fight. Maybe a Rell for Trymbi would be not bad. The Alistair's already out. The Poppy's already out. The Null is banned. Rakan banned. Bard banned. Nico banned. There's lots of board bans, both in the first game and in this series, or this game alone. So I'm wondering what Busio is going to play into the Rell if he gives it away here to VKS. Because I think it's kind of a good pick at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Aatrox ideally has some lockdown to follow up with. Like right now, all their champions are quite mobile. Like Senna typically has Swifty boots, and Ambessa is just hard to hit in general. Taliyah has rocks and phase rush, so...
Ooh.
No.
I mean, outside they don't have a great primary engage, but it can peel the Vi if you're getting ulted on, so the public execution plus Vi is a little scary to go in.
There we go.
There
we go. Yeah.
Way more like it.
My guy.
I actually agree with Sven here. Usually I really like the Renata pick into dive, right?
Yeah,
because she just absolutely stuffs what you want to do. However, because of the lack of really hard engage on Cade's comp, I like the Rell coming through, and we'll see what Busio wants to lock in against that.
I mean, you can play the Renata and play for the disengage, but then if you fall behind, you have no engage.
Yeah, that's just you're just waiting.
You kind of need a backup plan in case you fall behind.
There's no way back in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but
it is Leona insta-locked.
Yeah, exactly. So they wanted some more engage for themselves. FlyQuest and VivoCade, neither of them lacking for engage options. So I got to ask the crowd, because I heard some loud VivoCade fans make some noise and think VivoCade won draft. I'm telling you, they showed up in Dallas, but where's the FlyQuest fans at? Make some noise and think Fly won draft. A little louder, slightly.
It might be a little bit of a bias.
It might be slightly.
A lot of draft experts out there.
Yeah. But still, shout out to VKS fans who did show up today.
Yeah, and now we will see what casters think of the draft. Thank you so much for joining us, Dokla. Your insight is always great.
Big Dokes.
For having me.
All right, thank you very much, Lounge. Welcome back, everybody. It's about time to hop into our second game here. We have the classic Taliyah Vi combo on the side of FlyQuest, going up against some Super Shurima scaling on the VKS squad. How are we feeling about this?
I'm feeling like VKS just power picked the Sivir very early. It sent the draft down a bit of a front-to-back rabbit hole. I still do like the fact that since FlyQuest is such a disciplined team, VKS not having that many really hard engaged tools, I think FlyQuest should be able to maneuver around that pretty well. I'm feeling confident for FlyQuest, but that's more based off of the results of how Game 1 ended.
Well, I also think it is particularly effective if you can combine Vi with solo laners that can play off of guaranteed hitting skill shots. So Vi plus Taliyah is super common. You know, you get your seismic shove. So the 2v2 and ability to pick off, especially like Zhao that doesn't have ability to dodge, is very powerful. But also Vi setting up Ambessa ultimates to make sure that Ambessa can guaranteed land the ultimate as well and really layer that. Also super powerful 2v2s for FlyQuest. So even though Xin has a good one-on-one versus Vi, if you can combine in a lot of these 2-on-2 situations and skirmishes, I like those options for FlyQuest. And then even if you are scaling, Massu here on Senna with Ghost and Flash very mobile and scaling into the range with soul stacking is another good out for FlyQuest.
All right, level 1, we are getting even less contact than a line of scrimmage. Everybody's kind of just hanging out on their own sides of the map here. As you can see, highest win percent in 2025 for domestic play. That's FlyQuest, man. 80.6% of their games have been wins. Next closest is still about 4% behind them, CFO, and then Gen G behind that.
And one of the challenges when you actually win that higher percentage of your games is staying challenged and finding new ways to improve and not becoming complacent. It's something that Busio in particular has talked about in a lot of interviews, just trying to make sure they're always on the lookout for upsets and they're always trying in every single scrim to be better. So far, they've been able to pull it off, but you never know.
And Trymbi trying to jump forward there with the crash down, put on some early pressure, but the trade goes FlyQuest way.
Yeah, and these are pretty good for FlyQuest because they've got a good sustain advantage with the Senna and fleet footwork here for Massu. And so they can heal right back up after. Level 2 comes in pretty big.
Pretty spicy.
Yeah, it was Bwipo who hit it first, but Boal hitting it right after means that he still ends up winning out in the trade as Bwipo wants to continue scrapping back and forth. Both of these champions have the ability to just spam those abilities out whenever the cooldowns are off, so I expect a lot of trading up here in the top lane. Level 2 now for the bottom lane duos, as well as Trymbi is forced to crash down defensively to get away from Busio.
I mean, this lane can get out of hand very quickly, especially because both champions have such dodgeable skill shots that are crucial in whether or not you can win an all-in. So you can get yourself trapped in a pretty tough situation if you're looking to play aggressive.
I feel like either one of these could quickly turn into an all-in from either side. Bwipo continuing to slash and dash around as Morttheus and Trymbi still have to push here in bottom lane.
And this little timer for Bwipo is very important because the big difference in top lane is often jungles. And jungles are pathing to opposite sides. So Disamis and Xin are going to be up on the top side of the map. Boal getting a nice little chunk there.
Bwipo really wants to get this wave in before recalling. He has a good ward in the river. Gets the cannon, that's probably enough, especially with the number of minions it would push back to him over time if he wants to reset, but he's just trying to stay in experience range now.
Okay, he will stay there for the time being. Disamis making his way up. Just to the Scuttle Crab, though. There is that ward that'll spot him out if he tries to make his way all the way into the top lane. This is...
Come on!
That's a crazy question. Super early, too. The question is, do you want to win that so that you're ahead at that point and then you just don't throw?
Oh. Yep, center route finds Trymbi, but you can immediately, easily buffer through it there with a crash down. So no play to be found as Inspired looks towards the bottom lane. But now here on the top side, Disamis thinking about maybe a turret dive onto Bwipo here. Dives in, goes for the audacious charge. Bwipo with a flash away. Disamis down to 200 HP, but while having to leave now as well, Bwipo fights off the dive himself. Stays alive, but it costs his flash.
Nice outplay by Bwipo there. I want to see what Inspired does with his tempo now, though, because Disamis stayed about 30 seconds longer. Inspired already back on the map. So nice job by Bwipo surviving that dive with ease.
Yeah, and they also leave behind a ward on Krugs too, so they are going to be alerted to the exact timing of Inspired's second clear on Vi for top down, and when you have that early information, then you can kind of extrapolate the jungle path downwards and really keep track of him even as he approaches the level 6.
Well, 67% of fans said that FlyQuest would throw at Otacon, so that means 67% of fans think that FlyQuest are going to win the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and
because
I disagree.
You can't throw from behind.
I disagree that they'll throw at Otacon, man. This team is so disciplined. 40-1 went ahead in gold at 14 minutes, and it's still a pretty good win rate when behind at 14 minutes as well. Happens when you win 80% of your games domestically.
I mean, technically, game number 1, they were behind at 14 minutes, and then immediately at 15 minutes, they swung the game by 3,000 gold, getting an ace at the Rift Herald because they found that exact team fight they were looking for. And in this game, again, we already talked about it for VKS. They are very limited on engage mechanisms. It's kind of got to be the Trymbi show versus Leona and Vi and Ambessa all being able to find angles on the FlyQuest side.
So here's a really interesting timing window to look at because we've got support roam timers here as they go for their recalls. Currently, Trymbi is just heading right back out to the bottom side as well, but Bwipo without flash on top lane, you know, does have the re-clear of Xin to worry about, so he knows the jungle is going to be on the opposite side once again since Inspired cleared top down. And so he's just letting the Aatrox push him in. The Aatrox does get to level 6 first, but Bwipo just playing safe here. He knows, yep, I have no jungle pressure here since Inspired just went back to base, and we have to avoid any possibilities of follow-up because VKS really do want to capitalize on that extra summoner spell burn.
Yeah, I'd say Bwipo is keeping the lane in a safe spot right now, trying to get a bit of a trade in before that wave crashes, and there is no dive on the wave. Bwipo doesn't know that for sure, but he's still playing and having the wave in a pretty safe spot, as Inspired is going to be starting up the Drake.
Yeah, this is a much earlier Drake. Remember in game number 1, the first Drake didn't happen until about 11 minutes in. It was very, very slow. This time around, happening very rapidly, 6.5 minutes into the game, as the bottom lane duo of Massu and Busio just keeps Morttheus and Trymbi busy. Disamis is in the area, but he's here too late because the Drake is already secured by Inspired and Quad working together, and Trymbi and Disamis can't even catch up to Busio in time to try to force out a summoner spell.
It is way earlier, but that's also because of the champion Inspired's playing. Vi just excels at killing Drake early, not to mention he had that extra time over the Zhao because of the dive that was attempted top lane. So that's essentially the cost, to me, of that dive that was attempted top on a Bwipo.
7 minutes in, just a couple hundred gold separating the two teams here. Bwipo and Boal just continuing to trade back and forth every time the cooldowns are up. I feel like that story is never really going to change, especially considering both have the grass procs, both want to play for that extra dominance in the lane. There's the Zenith Blade on Morttheus after the Senna root was used to pop the spell shield. Bwipo wanted to go in for the public execution on a Boal. It was a full send from FlyQuest's jungle and solo laners to try to kill Boal, but Bwipo missing the public execution means Boal survives.
Yeah, so we were talking earlier about the guaranteeing of that ability if you can just buy ultimate to hold them in place, and then there's no opportunity to flash it. But using it kind of raw up there and just while Boal is ready and kind of watching, can just flash it, does mean that the time that Inspired and Quad used to go over does kind of get wasted there.
Yeah, I feel like if Inspired tries to start with it, Boal might just take him into the turret and it dies. But that, likewise to the attempted dive on Bwipo's Ambessa, just gives a lot of time for VKS to make a counterpunch. So it's very easy for them to go for the grubs here, knowing that FlyQuest is likely needing to clear camps and catch back up on the waves.
And remember, in game number 1, it was 3 grubs for VKS. FlyQuest even committed a teleport in that game to try to stop VKS, to try to collapse on them as they were taking the objective. That collapse did not succeed. So now, in the second game, it's even easier for VKS to get all 3 of them. Back-to-back games now, full grub control for Vivo Stars.
I think the grubs are an okay objective, but it's something that I see FlyQuest give up probably more than any other top team as they go for some poke onto Trymbi, mainly because if they're confident in their game state anyway, and the other team isn't reaching the turret, who cares, in a sense, if it's not giving them additional turret damage? So I see FlyQuest sacrifice that objective very frequently.
I mean, grubs are a down payment objective, right? Taking them, sure, it gives you a handful of gold from killing them, but it's really all about the extra power that you're saying in taking turret plates, in getting turret push, in being able to side lane more effectively. So as long as you're saying that's never going to pay dividends, you're fine giving it away in exchange for dragons or pressure on the other side of the map or whatever that might be. The next dragon, of course, not spawning for another 2 minutes or so. So we won't really have any fights that need to be forced just yet, but that doesn't mean we won't get any fights anyway.
I mean, we're probably getting a lane gank from Inspired at the moment, since he has full camps already cleared, and so you can try and continue to punish this no flash Aatrox, where on the previous ultimate from Bwipo, they're able to blow that cooldown, so now they really want to punish it, but once again, Boal here knows that there is potential for a possible aggressive play, so he's been playing fairly safe.
We'll see what he learns as well. The Gatko series, Inspired really helped out with a lot of top ganks, and it was catching Boal in situations like this. If he's been able to track the overall state of the game, it's about to pop out.
Oh, the Vault Breaker just
he was
barely missing.
100%, able to track it there and play safe. So when they make the call, obviously Boal, is going to be alerted. So FlyQuest make the call, hey, we're just going to force this now. Bring Busio, push the wave, and go.
All right, Busio will probably be the one to start this one off here. Immediate Shield of Daybreak, point blank, can't miss it. First blood over to Bwipo.
And then the counterattack, because that was so telegraphed by FlyQuest. Massu knew it was coming. He's backed away from the turret, so they're still going to lose a little bit of turret damage, but it is a clean kill with a no teleport Aatrox being down.
And it's traded turret damage because, the successful play on top side does mean they can get turret plates here for Bwipo on the top side too, and then still use the teleport for Busio's spellbook to get back and defend on the bottom side. And as you said, Masu's able to pull off early. He knows he's on the weak side since FlyQuest are the ones starting the play onto top side, and he's able to back off and not give over much counterplay there for VKS.
Yeah, such a nice play. The only fear here is that Morttheus' Sivir is getting a little bit more fed already with the Cull Sivir, able to power clear these waves and only having 2 plates on the bottom lane. So they got to pull that play off once. If they do it again, I think it would be a little bit too much, as the Sivir is now the really only one on the team with a gold lead for VKS.
Fed Sivir is never a bad thing to have, but we do have the next Drake spawning in 15 seconds. FlyQuest, of course, securing that first one 5 minutes ago. And this is about the time that the first Drake was taken in the previous game. So if FlyQuest maintains control over these objectives, it could be a sole win condition type of game for them.
Yeah, plus with Bwipo having the Eclipse, he's at a big power spike for Ambessa, but I do love this roam timing from Trymbi. With the Eclipse item advantage, you're expecting Bwipo to go aggressive, and they're looking to punish him.
Okay, Bwipo steps forward there. Trymbi goes for the crash down. Bwipo, public execution to try to buffer through some of this, but doesn't get a whole lot of value out of it. Trymbi using the summoner spell Exhaust for a little bit more power here in the trade, but honestly, Bwipo just scraps to about half his HP and backs away. The Drake has not been started up yet by either side, and critically, Boal's teleport is now also available. Inspired up here on the top side, Disamis, Trymbi, and Boal all on this side of the map.
Yeah, and it looks like FlyQuest are fine with just completely sacrificing here, seeing both the support and jungle on top side.
Ooh, there's your chain CC onto Mireu, but they don't have enough damage despite the Dawning Shadow coming in as well. Now Bwipo continues to defend here in a 1v3 underneath the tier 1 turret as the escape from Mireu with the TP to make sure that he saves his own life. There's chaos all over the Rift right now, but nobody's dead.
Yeah, Quad was close. He was trying to follow up on it, but as he arrives, Mireu leaves with the teleport and does get out. Let's see.
Hey, how'd he get out of there? No, it actually looks like Trymbi is the one who initiated that pause, so we're going to have tech support check in on exactly what that was. A very exciting sequence in a 1-kill game, as none of these kills are actually converting for either team. Such a close teleport as Kobe's rewatching this on the other side of the screen for Mireu to make that escape.
Yeah, I don't see anything fishy about the teleport. You know, there shouldn't be anything involved with that, so maybe it's something involved on the top side.
Yeah, I was just updated from producers. We have a tech pause to check something with Mireu's microphone. So I don't think that can impact a teleport at all, so I don't believe it has anything to do with the previous play, but we got to make sure that the comms are working for everybody here in the finals.
Yeah, and I just heard that the microphone is good. They're just getting ready checks, so this should be a very short pause before we get back into this game. Trying to set the stage here, 12 minutes, 43 seconds into this one. A small lead for FlyQuest. A lot of summoner spells just burned. However, with Bwipo being completely out of summoner spells, with this next Drake likely to be where the next fight happens.
Okay, so let's get ourselves recalibrated here. Quad solo on this tier 1 turret down in the bottom lane. We'll be able to grab at least this second plate, as Inspired will start up the Drake. Like you said earlier, Jatt, Vi, very, very good at dealing with these objectives with the percent HP damage with the armor crush. Very, very swift at taking those down, as Massu and Morttheus both just clearing waves in the mid lane, which of course is Sivir's specialty. Dragon still at about 2,000 HP as VKS is on the approach. Busio and Massu ready to try to fight them off as Quad adds extra damage. FlyQuest looked like they were seeing if maybe there was an opportunity to follow it up with an engage, but there is not.
Yep, good timing there from FlyQuest, able to burn it down before anyone comes. And a big part of that is that they had the pressure on bottom side. Quad had fully pushed in, they had just chased off the Azir, Mireu was coming from base, and so the bottom wave had been pushed into tower, so Quad could come help with DPS on the Dragon. So even though the support and jungle roam timers were kind of close, FlyQuest are able to get their Dragon number 2.
Yeah, I got to give an early shout out to Quad so far in this Taliyah game. Both of the Drakes, he's been able to get in mid push and then help Inspire take it down. He had a couple of rough Taliyah games towards the end of Split 3 where he'd start the game 0-4 or 0-5 before eventually winning, mainly because FlyQuest was winning everywhere else. He's also the only player on FlyQuest who didn't get first team All-Pro, so definitely something to prove in these clutch moments. Azir, one of the top picks and top choices for VKS, also heavily denied by FlyQuest, so having the ability to give that over and still have a good performance on Taliyah is important for FlyQuest.
Well, the second Dragon going over to Fly does bode well for them. One more neutral objective, and they will claim that feat of monster slaying. And we do have the Rift Herald spawning in 20 seconds. Like you guys already mentioned during the pause, it's only 1 kill on the board as we're about to hit 15 minutes. So another very, very slow early game. But remember that the Rift Herald fight was where it all took off in game number 1. It was 2-0 VKS before that Herald in game number 1. After that, it was a landslide for Fly.
And we could point out a lot of this prep work. Busio just went into the jungle to get some vision down. They're into the river very early. Inspired is going for a recall right now, though. So his timer is going to be coming straight from base. Let's see if he's able to pick up much. All right, so Steel Caps and the Ruby Crystal here. That is a lot more durability this early on into the game.
It is, but this is another situation where we have Quad in the bottom lane, so I feel like FlyQuest is going to wait for VKS to pull it, and they're the ones forcing the tempo on this play. And if they want to fight, that's when Quad's going to be teleporting in and looking for a play.
Meanwhile, Bwipo and Boal trading as they're on the top side of this skirmish. Boal loses out on the trade, but does have the honey fruits to eat to heal back up a little bit. Quad takes the bottom lane turret down below that final plate as FlyQuest are watching VKS take the Herald, and they're just deciding, okay, you can take the Herald. We're going to get the first turret down here in the bottom lane instead. So now it's 2 neutral objectives to 2, but it's first turret over to FlyQuest in the bottom lane.
Exactly, but I also loved how they kept VKS uncertain. Quad finished the wave, went into Fog of War, so that VKS had to keep 5 people committed. So FlyQuest is getting small advantages in every lane, while VKS was able to pick up that Rift Herald.
Yeah, they take the guaranteed tower now for kind of the delayed Rift Herald possibility of knocking one down, which, you know, it would one-shot stuff like the topside tower and heavily damage the mid tower. We'll see as well about the follow-up for the feats, because that does give another objective. And 3 people top here for VKS. Busio's in there to watch as the tower does go down, though.
Yeah, 3 grubs. You don't even need to use the Herald when it's that low on HP. Azir walking up with an Ashor's Tooth, it's going to melt pretty quickly.
So, getting the first tower in the trade for FlyQuest, we will see if they can then capitalize on either 2 more kills or, you know, the following dragon here to actually get to that feats and make use of the first tower going down, or if VKS is able to actually win that team fight. Again, one of the biggest determining factors here in these dragon fights is early access to the river, getting vision here on this brush, and they go for it.
Oh, nice Zenith Blade over the wall there from Busio, trying to combo onto Trymbi, who wants to escape with all of his spells used defensively, but he cannot make the distance. FlyQuest spent a lot to get it, though, as VKS wants a counterpunch, but they're too slow to the fight, and FlyQuest disengages.
Preparation is key, Flowers. They get there early, and they're able to punish as Trymbi is going for his wards while FlyQuest are already at the objective. Now, let's see about the follow-up. Inspired still does have his Vi ultimate, so they could go for a combo play.
I feel like Trymbi might have been a little slow on his Mikhails there, but that's a nice pick there by FlyQuest, still trying to catch this wave. They've done a lot of nice shadowing as VKS has crashed the waves. Something about FlyQuest is one of the reasons teams don't make plays against them is they're anticipating so many of the moves. So anytime they'd want to dive Bwipo, Busio's right there or Inspired's right there, and that's what we saw with the Taliyah as well. So it's difficult for Trymbi to find these picks. I think one of the silver linings about Trymbi dying, though, is that he did keep both summoner spells if he wants to now look for a fight around this next raid.
Say also, generally, when you're going for wards like that, very, very necessary to keep your jungler close by. Because if you're just a solo support going for that, you can like try and hop away, but you know, clearly FlyQuest able to make their pick and punish it. Now though, he's back and alive.
Well, good damage by Massu.
Yeah, Massu with the static shiv on the Senna makes both the trading patterns and the farming patterns a lot nicer. Bwipo versus Boal up here in the top side. It is Bwipo on lower HP, but you can never underestimate Ambessa with that Eclipse, as the next dragon is about ready to spawn here in the bottom river, live right now. Already 2 drakes to nothing for FlyQuest. This drake will determine who gets the feat of monster slaying. If it's FlyQuest, they'll also secure the boots on top of it.
Okay, so Herald's going to get popped down in mid. They're going to try and push mid priority first here. Busio's ult is back up and available for FlyQuest. Okay. Nice wall, just block the Herald.
Yep, Weaver's wall says Herald has to go somewhere else. Trymbi, flash engage, going after Busio, looking to get revenge for the earlier engage from the FlyQuest support. Busio's in the middle of everybody, but Inspired is ready to join. Mireu has to disengage. Disamis, Boal, and Trymbi. The giant front line of VKS is ready to fight, but FlyQuest already claimed the first kill.
Big
it's
fight
a 1-for-1 here so far, as FlyQuest keeps chasing. Trymbi's next to die. Busio gets away. Bwipo with a kill on Mireu. FlyQuest team fighting is just better. Boal, seismic shot backwards. He flashes forward to try to kill Busio. Try as he might, he'll only die. FlyQuest, 4 for 1.
And Busio lives. They try and catch the other support in the jungle. He evades VKS, and then look at the re-engage he goes for, immediately flashing out after the E hits.
Busio is my MVP right here. Watch the way he plays this fight. Another thing to track early on is everything gets absorbed by Busio, and Morttheus is the one that gets sectioned off by this teleport. So even though the original dive in the middle there doesn't get the execute onto the Azir, because they kill the Sivir, they're still stronger for the re-engage. And once this happens, all eyes on Busio. He's at the top of the screen. You think you're gonna one-shot him when he ease in like this. The instant flash over the wall so no follow-up can happen, making it so everyone else can fly in on the CC he provided.
And then the finale goes back in again.
Yeah, why not just go back in?
Yeah, gets a flash out of Aatrox, you know? Another little bit of a bait right there. Aatrox ends up using another summoner spell on top of it, and you can tell with the reactions here how big that was. Another really key factor, of course, there is that Morttheus, the Sivir, in the river with all the rest of VKS kind of chasing into the jungle. The Sivir alone with just Bwipo and Massu next to him just gets deleted with barely getting any work done there. So FlyQuest really kind of pulling them apart.
Yeah, winning the fight gives them feats of strength. They get the Warfare as well as first turret, but they're going for Bwipo. Maybe if they get it, they can get the Otacon as well.
Yeah, Bwipo's the target. Wanted to use public execution there to try to buffer through some of the CC. Doesn't get a whole lot of value out of that. Now Disamis trying to do the last little bit of damage. Dawning Shadow keeps Bwipo alive long enough to make it a 1-for-1. Massu from across the map with the assist, as now Busio, Quad, and Mireu are all getting involved. A 2v2 ready to go as Busio stuck here on the front line. Remember, his redemption was already used. Busio's about to drop. Massu and Inspired trying to get away from Morttheus and Trymbi. Busio staying alive somehow yet again. FlyQuest out-kiting to stay alive as Disamis and Bwipo trade 1-for-1.
And one of the differences in this series has been when a play goes bad for a team, how bad does it go? Because the previous fight was FlyQuest cleaning up for 5 kills. This last fight was a bad play. It's a team that had an advantage getting a 1-for-1, but it could have been so much worse. Quad lost the 2v2 on the top line. Massu and Inspired lost the 2v2 bot, but they didn't die. They just had to back away, and they'll end up getting the Drake after all is said and done.
Yeah, they are currently. Plus, there's a possible maneuver on top side. Plenty of vision for FlyQuest, seeing VKS set up around Otacon.
Okay, yeah, VKS crashing down on the Otacon now as Inspired is about to finish up Drake number 3.
Soul point.
Okay, FlyQuest are hanging around the area. VKS have the Otacon down to almost half HP now. FlyQuest on the approach. Inspired still has to walk up through the river.
That poll, 33% of people thought VKS would throw. Let's see if it's true.
Inspired versus Boal down on the bottom side of the river, while Trymbi tries to engage up here on the top side, 4v4. Disamis going to be your first target. Tries to get away here with his Zhao ulti, but he's already killed. Morttheus about to die second. Massu doesn't have the range to take him out just yet as Inspired, looking to maybe cut him off, but Boal saves the rest of his team. The Otacon stayed aggroed. FlyQuest has their jungler. The Otacon is served on a silver platter to FlyQuest.
So FlyQuest does not throw at Otacon. They just emphatically put their stamp on this game. Flowers, that is now Dragon Soul Point, as well as the Otacon, as well as the top tower here. The game just getting blown wide open once again in favor of FlyQuest.
Massu at 73 stacks on the Senna as well, liking these skirmishes that aren't fatal as he's stacking up. Bwipo is, again, so strong in this game as 5-1 Ambessa.
And earlier, Jatt, you pointed out that Quad was the only member of FlyQuest to not win first team All-Pro in the North, that he was someone who had something to prove, that he had had a lot of rough games on this Taliyah. He is the highest individual gold lead in this game by a few hundred on his Taliyah, 2-0-2 on the scoreline. Seraphs, Leandri's Torment, upgraded Sorcerer's Shoes. This guy has been critical to their success here in the second game.
And honestly, since he joined the team, they win the summer split last year. They win split 2, they win split 3, and they're very close to going up 2-0 in the LTA championship with Quad. For as much as he might struggle in some individual games and is overshadowed by the rest of the team, this guy just wins.
Let's see what VKS can try and do about it, because their backs are getting pushed against the wall yet again. You know, after the previous 3-0 series that they had versus FlyQuest, they said really lit a fire under them. They want to be able to show that they can take a game from FlyQuest. See if they can turn this one around. It's obviously going to be very difficult with Dragon approaching very quickly here. Only 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on that clock.
Yeah, early Dragon Soul, that's what happens when Inspired's able to take that first Drake at 6 minutes. So this is another thing about the discipline of FlyQuest as they're trying to get a fight onto Busio.
Busio with a defensive solar flare onto Disamis, immediately followed up by Quad's seismic shove into the unraveled earth. Means the VKS jungler is knocked down to half HP. He still has his Crescent Guard, but he was forced to use his flash to try to get away. Morttheus also forced to use On the Hunt to get the extra little bit of speed to make sure that he doesn't get caught out there. So a couple of critical ultimates down now for the side of VKS. Inspired and Bwipo in the enemy jungle, wanting to steal away the red buff. Disamis going to be your target. Whoa. He's taken out by Bwipo. Morttheus, the next target, as FlyQuest dives in. The Sivir's under a lot of pressure. It's a double kill over to Bwipo's Ambessa. Mireu rooted up. Bwipo wants a third, but he can't quite find the damage. He's exhausted. He wants to get away, but he does get shut down. Boal making something happen back for VKS, but still a 2-for-1 for FlyQuest.
Big play by Bwipo and Inspired. Just a little bit of an overreach at the very end, but still overall very strong, getting so many flashes out of VKS. Not only do they kill the server, they burn both the Barrier and Flash, which will not be up for the Soul fight.
Yeah, I mean, they do get their red buff there. Disamis is able to get the post 25-minute red buff secure, which is pretty big, since it does go to everybody on your team. But they end up giving multiple people's lives, and it gives you a lot of time on the map when people go down this late into the game. You could tell Busio there already using this extra time to go get vision leading up to the Baron, which will be the next area that FlyQuest try and bait over.
So they see Inspired go, but they catch Bwipo at the end and actually think they have a chance in this. The Senna air support coming in all these fights has been so crucial, and they instantly fly onto the Sivir in the extended fight.
Yeah, I mean, Bwipo on this Ambessa has gone pretty hard. That one was a little much, but the initial one, as you said, double kill was good.
Oops. Sorry.
See, it's okay to laugh about those. When you're winning so hard,
yes,
those ones don't feel too bad.
7-2 oops is way better than 0-7 oops.
Exactly.
Let me say that.
0-7's not as much of an oops. It's more of a head and hands type of, oh no, not again.
All right, well, we've got the Dragon Soul coming up, boys. 20 seconds on the clock. VKS know they've got to make a stand, so they're getting here early with the extra vision.
Look at flashes. There's only one flash on the side of Vivo Stars, and it's on the support Rell. So whoever FlyQuest jumps on, they're going to look to execute.
Keep your eyes on Trymbi. Remember, that's the only real engage here for VKS if they want to try to be the ones to strike first. VKS on the rod. Busio goes in. Mireu's going to be the target. They can't quite kill him off just yet, but Inspired's going in for the ulti all-in. Mireu's already down. Busio still alive as Morttheus is next to fall. The carries on VKS are already down. So is everyone else. Only at the cost of Busio. FlyQuest kill 4.
Perfect team fight execution by FlyQuest. We just talked about the lack of flashes, and who were the first two people to die? The Azir and the Sivir, the two carries. Watch how FlyQuest do this perfectly.
Exactly, the targeting here. Initially, they go on the Azir. Look how long that Vi ultimate is. Inspired's able to follow Mireu here as he tries to disengage, and then the Sivir deleted up in the river with the other side, and Bwipo tearing them apart.
And once again, it's that Senna air support coming in over the top with the Vi ulti to guarantee the kill onto Mireu. And now right after they take the Dragon Soul, they'll take the Baron. 28 minutes in, double super buff for FlyQuest with an 8,500 gold lead.
Looking to win their 5th game in a row against Vivo Stars. Boal trying to maybe get something back, but that's a 3-item Ambessa. He's actually wanting more.
Bwipo was ready to take the fight. He missed the public execution.
That's the
but
whole
he's
team,
still
Bwipo.
going in.
That's the whole team.
1 versus 5. Bwipo still wants it. He does not die just yet. FlyQuest coming in. The reinforcements have arrived. Boal down to 1/3 HP. Bwipo could be in a little bit of danger, but Mireu doesn't find the right target. He's already dead. And VKS walked like lambs to the slaughter as FlyQuest will purge them all from bottom lane. It's another 4-for-1, and they're marching straight to the base.
Yeah, they've got Baron buff flowers. They're gonna go for the end. It's Boal versus the North.
And the North is looking ferocious. FlyQuest, they've got another minion wave coming up. They have plenty of health bars, plus a Senna to lead the charge. Only an Aatrox with no ulti has no chance to try to stop this push. Game number 1 was 19-4. Game number 2 is 18-5. FlyQuest are smacking VKS around and not wasting any time doing it. Trymbi, Boal, none of them have anything to say as FlyQuest go up 2-0.
And both games ended in under 30 minutes. When they get a lead, they are explosively punishing towards Vivo K-Star. Small shout out there to Massu at the end. 17 out of 18 kills he participated in this game.
And Lounge, this one is looking dire for the Brazilian squad. How are they going to bounce back?
Yeah, it's my turn to talk now. Absolutely, Flowers. Just being able to see how dominant FlyQuest has been. Now, I haven't seen Raz in a little bit, but it is, you know.
I don't even know if Raz is here anymore.
Yeah.
Also, welcome back to LTA
Welcome
Championship,
back.
driven by Kia, by